Good afternoon and welcome to the mid-lunch session of the 10th Annual Regulators and Policymakers Retreat being held by IPPAI and Aviation Watch here at Goa. With me is Mr. Behzad Mirzaei. Welcome to the show, Behzad.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.
Behzad, we'd like to know, you are the Vice Chairman of the Independent Power Producers Forum, Hong Kong.
Yes.
And you're also Vice Chairman on the Asia-Africa Committee in the Hong Kong Business Chambers of Commerce.
Yes, Hong Kong General Chamber of Commerce.
General Chamber of Commerce. So, Behzad, what has been your experience in terms of how, in fact, different is the electricity and the power regulatory environment as compared to, comparing between India and China?
That was exactly my topic of my presentation today. The area that I think there are lots of similarities, of course, but I think there are some area of differences. My topic was on the mostly renewable, and I think in the renewable the story may be different, because I think the policies that India have for renewable energy is different from what other energy or fossil or conventional energy have in terms of policy. But I think the main differences that I see based on what I presented today was for example, the incentive, the incentive that the governments here in India give to the renewable energy producer may be much less than what we have in China. This is one of the things that I see differences, and the other area that I see, for example, and I think I discussed on it on the which is I'm also very concerned, is the FDI. I think the foreign direct investment is more preferable and preferring to go to China and invest in the renewable versus in India, and I think this is due to the constraint that India and the bureaucratic system exists, and of course the poor infrastructure exists. So for the investor, for example, for the wind power or maybe some other renewable energy, I think China would be more preferable. So I think India should work toward the probably changing. Make it much easier for the foreign investor or foreign company to invest. Because I see, for example, a wind energy producer, which is Suzlon, for example. This is very large company. So maybe this is, for them is easy to get access to the market and get a big piece of market share. But what about the medium players or small players? For them, it's much tougher to come.
And there are more challenges. For example, in India, you have hydrological risks, you have changing wind patterns, and you have other problems like land acquisition. Now, how does this compare with, say, the Chinese situation?
This is actually fundamental differences, because we have this is also was a part of my topic, is a democratic system versus a one-party government, which is a communist. This is the things in China is more centralized and it's more controlled. It's all decision made in the central government, and I think that makes things easier. For example, telling me about the making infrastructure in place. This is a good example for a producer of the energy. I think China is a very clear-cut, one-day job, making decision and then start to implement it, which is versus in China is very long process of coming to a consensus and making a decision, which is benefiting actually the whole nation. So I think this is a fundamental differences.
Great. If you had 3 recommendations to make to Indian regulators and policymakers to attract more FDI than is going into China in this particular sector, renewables and renewable energy, what would those 3 recommendations be?
I think we have to, one of the recommendation I have on the FDI, ease of FDI coming to India is to reduce or at least eliminate some of the the red tapes and the bureaucratic the procedure. This is one of the things I think. This is the main one, but also I think the second issue is more attractive incentives, tax reduction or tax holiday, I believe, which I think in renewable there some exist. But you see, when you pass the first barrier, which is the FDI, of course this second one is much easier to achieve. And I think that the last one, I have to mention, this is extremely important, when I think we discussed in the last 3 days, is the infrastructure. You know, you have to appeal to the foreign investor. When a good example is me, when I come to India, I'm very excited whenever I'm in the flight. As soon as I land and I see the airport, and I see the roads going to different location of the city, even a big city like Mumbai or Bangalore, or I lose my confidence. So if we want to attract more investment, we have to fix that as soon as possible. That should be in the first part of the agenda.
Great.